Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Sequester podcast. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and with me today, we have a very special guest. I'm very, very pleased to announce that we have Kim Mattina, winner of Season 2 of Sequester. How are you doing, Kim?
I'm doing great, Taran. Thank you so much to you and Brent for having me on. I'm excited about it.
Yes.
I got a lot to say.
Very excited to have you on and to get your thoughts on what we're seeing this season. Also with me, of course, is Brent Wolgamott. How you doing, Brent?
I'm doing great, Taran. I got a spot open in my alliance. If you're interested, come to the winning side. I peeled your oranges, all the stuff we heard 5,000 times from people in this episode. And maybe, go ahead.
That's how we pitched to get Kim on the podcast, right? It was Kim. We have a spot open on the podcast. Just if you play your cards right, you might get an invite. I'm just saying. That's just take it or leave it,
And that I had to actually beg for Taran to peel oranges just to get me here. So.
Many people do.
I've heard.
Yes. All right. We're here to talk about episode 8 of season 3 of Sequester, and it was date night in the Sequester house. Always love date night. I think it's such a great twist. It
is, and I'm gonna start right away before Kim even gets the chance, because I'll just say this: I felt like this is like double eviction night on Big Brother, where it's coming, you love it, you need it, and then it comes, and you're like, that was all there is. Like, it was very much of a letdown for me. I know I was looking forward to date night. This is the one twist they really carried over from last season. And I actually don't know if it was on season 1. Maybe Kim, if it was on season 1. But it was a fantastic twist in season 2. Mm-hmm. And it was so great. It gave us a lot of fallout. This season, it was like copy and paste. The whole way down as far as the dates go. I really feel like this cast totally wasted it.
You know what? I was talking to Jake Round this morning, and Jake
Rounds, who was on your season
from my season.
Yeah, the third place finisher. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And when we were talking about it, he and I were having the same thoughts on this. And he said, you know what? Date night, the big thing that's an advantage is that the people are at the bottom have an opportunity one-on-one to find the cracks and break up the majority alliance. That's what happened in season 2 with Jake and I. I didn't see it.
You didn't even see an effort.
I didn't even see an effort.
We'll get into it, but I saw very little effort from anybody. They're all aware that they're on the bottom, Taran. It just feels like they're willing to accept their fate and take their chances with the battle match, which honestly, I don't have to be results oriented, but maybe a better strategy. I really want to talk about this because I feel like there's a bit of a disconnect between the way people are playing like Survivor and Big Brother and the way people are playing Sequester. And I'm contemplating the idea that maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but come for people. Maybe I'm wrong to come for people like Hunter, who like apparently doesn't have a plan, doesn't care who goes home, has no currency within the game. He's just like trying to avoid being eliminated. Maybe that is the correct way to play this season of Sequester. I don't know. We can talk about it.
All right. Well, I will tell you that I watched this episode and I was like, I love this. I'm loving it. I loved the whole thing.
You would.
I thought it was the best episode of the season. I really, really enjoyed it. The whole time I was just like, this is Sequester right here. I'm loving this. And so, I definitely got some negative vibes from the two of you when we opened the podcast. But I am coming at it from a different angle here.
Why did you love this, and why did you think that this represents Sequester so well?
I don't know if I don't know. Like, when I said this is Sequester, I didn't mean like it's representing Sequester, but I did mean it in the sense that like I was drawn to the screen at every moment. Every single conversation meant something to me in the sense that it advanced my understanding of who these people are and what their relationships are with each other. This felt to me like the best way for me to finally understand the true layout of the house and in the game and what they're doing and who they're with and what they're thinking, because we basically got 7 different versions of 4 different conversations with every single player talking to every single player, giving their thoughts about that player and their strategy. I loved it. It was a ton of information that I got to cipher through and to decipher. I just thought it was really, really interesting, and there were a lot of great moments. I actually really enjoyed Hunter in this episode. No, not Hunter. Dustin in this episode. Man, their names. I really enjoyed Dustin this episode. I thought he was hilarious. I was loving the whole Jayla saga of not understanding the rules. I thought that played out so perfectly, where the only people who would have told her were at the end of her journey, and the whole way that played out was just so hilarious to me the whole time. It was watching Cameron time after time just shove every foot available into her mouth was hilarious. There were so many great just character moments in this episode for me that I just loved.
That's fair. Kim, do you want to talk about what Taran had to say about your view of the date night and why it failed in your eyes, or do you want to talk about Jayla and her ineptitude?
Okay.
Or both.
First of all, I love Jayla. I loved Jayla before she was ever cast for this, and she was a fan. She watched season 2 from the beginning and messaged me all the time. I have no idea where the disconnect came that Jayla did not understand the twist. I mean, she understood it. She said later on she understood it. She just forgot about it and came in. It's like, no, nobody clap for me. Don't stand up for me. And
which is her first problem. She
sashayed in.
That was the thing.
She sashayed in and out.
She's giving us what she thinks is good TV. And like I've always said, whenever you think you're giving us good TV, you're probably giving us bad TV. Bad TV, bad girl. Don't do that. Come in, try to make nice with some of these people. If you want to hand somebody's ass to them, hand somebody's ass to them and have it out with them. But to just say basically, F you to the other 7 people in the cast, I don't want to hear what you got to say. I don't want to hear you clapping. I don't want to hear nothing. I'm going to sit my ass down and say, girl, bye. That was a terrible way to play. And I really feel like you should have paid with it with your life this round. You should have paid with it. It was only because you got lucky and other people decided, in the specific order of the dates, where people were like, we're going to go for Erica this time. I guess we'll save Jayla for next time. But just to be clear about what I said last time, when you decided to challenge Erica, and I realized that she forgot the rules, but still, even if you're successful in your battle with Erica, right. Who do you think's going home this round? If she defeats Erica in the last round, if she gets to battle Erica, she defeats her, she comes back, Jayla I'm talking about, who's going home this round? Jayla's going home this round. So I don't understand her. And by the way, the other thing too, Kim, when they say a jury, those of you who voted for, Kristen, please stand up. Everybody stands up. This time they didn't do that. They said the following people's votes have been possessed and must stand up. And so before, they just let the people stand up. If you know you voted for the person who's voted out, you got to stand up. But for this round, the possessed round, they read off the names. That should have been her first fucking clue that, hey, this is not right here. Obviously, I know that Erica really didn't vote for me here, but she was so in her head, and it was so cringeworthy to watch. I know Taran loved it, but I was just flabbergasted this entire episode, watching her repeat her insane dumbness the entire round and just go to people. And of course, she's going to people who can't correct her or have. And I will say this: the people who didn't correct her, God love you. God love you for playing it right. And
oh my God, for once they kept their mouths shut.
I know, right?
And it was like, oh my God. And I'm going to preface because I'm pretty sure, Taran, you're going to want to go through the dates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Before we get to that, I don't want to hear from anybody about, well, this is day 3, day 4 in the house, and you get no sleep, and people are emotionally and mentally exhausted.
Yeah, I got a whole paragraph on Twitter about that. Yeah.
Okay, I've been there. I did it, and I get that. But I also understand that in advance, okay, that it's date night. They tell you, if nothing else, get a clue. Everybody's dressed up when you walk back in the room, right?
Yeah.
So while she was changing, she should have been going through her mind going, okay, who do I talk to about what? It's literally a game of telephone. And what you say should go to the next person, right? And this is how you can strategically play date night, is that you're setting yourself up to have your words carry forward. That didn't happen. And with that, I'm gonna back off. Taran, I want you to go through the dates, because this is like Festivus for the rest of us, because I've got airing of grievances going on here. I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved this whole, and I know it was frustrating for Brent at the very least, but I don't know, maybe for me this is like Big Brother 13 when Lawan just like really screws up, and it's like God. It's so bad it turns into just something that's so great for me to watch, and like that's probably my favorite moment of Big Brother 13. It's like the thing that really stands out, right?
That was amazing.
So I just love watching this happen over and over, and the look on each person's face as they realize that she doesn't understand.
That's the thing. Oh my God.
And then her getting frustrated that she feels like people are being really condescending to her all of a sudden, and it's because they recognize that she doesn't understand. You immediately get condescending when that happens.
God, it was so frustrating. So frustrating to watch this going on about it. And the other thing too is like when they're sitting there talking, like the editors never leave something in usually unless it means something. So at the beginning of the episode, before she even comes in and they're talking, Kim, and Erica's like, I think she forgot about the twist. And people are like, yeah, maybe she did. I'm like, fuck. Like, I never even considered that. Like of the reasons I considered, that was not one of them. I was like, maybe she thinks Erica's weak. Maybe she's trying to flush an LOS, but that doesn't make sense because then she picks Thomas. So, well yeah, it was just an insanity. And I was besides myself, as Robin said.
Yeah. Oh man, it's just the whole episode. I'm just loving the whole situation, especially because it becomes so clear that she's not going to find out until the end, and then it's like, what is she going to do when she finds out? And that's hilarious as well.
We'll get to that one.
So we start out. I think the very first date we see is going to be our dynamic duo here, Cameron and Tori.
Yes.
And they have an interesting conversation where they basically continue their sort of disagreement about who they want to bring along with them. Tori still feels like they can reel in Jayla, and Cameron is still like, what? Jayla? Do you even know who she is? Like,
how can you trust her?
And it gets really weird like that. And so Tori does something interesting throughout the whole date night, from my perspective, where she seemed very unfocused when it came to this particular round. And she was focusing a lot more on building long-term relationships. She was using this opportunity as a chance to like talk to individuals one-on-one and set long-term plans up, which I think is a risky play, but she was certainly very safe from what it seemed like, and she certainly got through this round very unscathed. So could be an interesting strategy here. I know that there's not a lot of opportunity to get people one-on-one, so if you can do it effectively in this situation where, you know, whether it's Jayla or Erica or Jess, it doesn't really matter to you, as long as you can build long-term stuff. I think that's probably a good idea. However, I think in the execution of it, Tori did not succeed particularly well, as again, just most of the time when she talks to someone, I think she has the right idea again, but it doesn't always follow through very well. So she's trying to talk to Cameron about setting up the final four and how to get the two of them into the final two. And Cameron's like, yeah, you know, I've been thinking, and I just want to like get to the final four and then, you know, just let it happen the way it happens, you know, which is like the worst thing you can say to somebody that you have a final two with, Kim.
Exactly. And I sat there going, do you remember that you're at final 8 and you're talking final 4 right now? Hello, you've got to get through a few eliminations here, like 4 of them. Why are you thinking this is Sequester? And this goes back to what Brent was saying. And a wise woman said to me last night after the episode, I don't know what the hell they're playing. Are they playing Big Brother? Are they playing Survivor? Are they making final twos that they're going to be able to get? No, they are playing Sequester. And what you set up at the beginning is not. You've got to be so fluid in this game. And they're sitting there with their butts being held on the chair with gum and not moving. And that is not how you play this. And I think we saw it right there with them. They each had different ideas on what happens at Final Four and who that fourth person was going to be.
Yeah.
And that breaks up a final two real fast, especially when one of them's going, yeah, let's just wait till we get there and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Taran, this is the point in time where I was really Team Tori in this conversation. Shocker. But I am actually Team Cameron in other parts of the episode, and I'll get to those. Tori, I felt like quickly picked up on the fact, and other people, again, we've talked about this in reality TV, like denial is a very powerful drug. It would have been very easy for Tori to just brush this off and say, I'm not gonna let this bother me. But she was like, she noted the fact that Cameron went out of her way to poo-poo the final two and say, let's just work on Final Four and let's just see what happens then, which sounded very similar to me to what Alex did to Rob in Survivor Amazon, where he basically said, look, right, if it gets to the end, those girls are voting together, I'm going to vote you out. I just want you to know that ahead of time, that I am not going to the end with you. And I felt like that was similar here, where she was basically saying to Tori, like, I don't really have a lot invested in going to the end with you. I'm willing to just let the cards fall where they may, which is not what someone like Tori, who feels as though she is a giant threat, and she should feel like she's a giant threat, but no one ever comes from her. I just didn't get what Cameron was doing here. Maybe she spoke before she thought, but that's common with her, I guess.
Yeah, and it's not something that Cameron mentions in her confessionals, so I don't think it was like a big thing to her. So I don't know if this was just a slip or if this was some intentional ploy to get her to be less enthusiastic about final, or maybe get her to be more willing to not bring Jayla. I don't know where it came from, but I think Tori is 100% correct when she says, if this is what she's telling me, that means there's a lot more that she's not telling me, which is what I say all the time about, like, when people tell you things that are negative, there's usually more behind it, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not usually just very upfront about all of their flaws and all of their bad plans.
Yep. It's a veil every time. But this was also Tori's big lie.
Yeah, right.
Tori with her big lie. Yeah, I just want to get to the final two because I've got this deal going on and I've just got to make the final two for it to happen.
Right.
But I'll throw it to you. I don't actually want to win.
Yes.
What did you think of this? I mean, like, it's not going to mean any hill of beans because Cameron's going to go out of the game here, but I felt like it wasn't terrible considering how fame hungry some of this cast is.
I think the way she set it up in the confessional, she set it up to fail because she presented my big lie like it's this innovative thing that she's got ready to drop on us, and she's like, I actually don't care about winning, I just need to, and it's like, okay, we've seen this 1,000 times, and basically it only ever works if the person you're talking to is like Zach. Has got nothing in their head.
Zach.
So
I feel like it would work on Zach.
Right, and it's not a bad thing to do if you think the person you're talking to is dumb, but if the person you're talking to is not dumb, then they're probably going to be pretty insulted and they're not going to feel great about that. So it has its place in the right circumstances, and I don't think we'll ever be able to see on the show, at least from Cameron, whether or not she actually bought any of this. I got the sense that she was not super sold on it, and that she kind of just was like, "Why are we talking about this?" Who knows?
That was the other thing. They only have 3 minutes to talk, Kim. Which didn't you guys have 5 minutes on your season? I want to say it was 5. Yeah, so they had 3 minutes to talk. Probably a good call on the producer's part, and they didn't get anything done. I saw Cameron talking on social media that her whole annoyance with Tori this entire round was that they just sat there and talked about bullshit and never got a plan together. Kim, they had no idea what the hell they were doing. That could have totally blown up in their faces because they never got to talk to each other again.
Yes,
exactly.
We're also going to see that Hunter and Erica are going to start off together on a date. So it's another duo here. And Erica's very excited to see Hunter. She's like, he's basically the only person she trusts left in the game. And he's excited to see her in the sense that he is going to be secretly planning her elimination this entire episode because he feels like she is too big a threat at this point, that she needs to be eliminated, because if he sits next to her in the end, she will win because she's been targeted so often, that her perseverance will be a great story to the jury. And I think he's right that he can't beat Erica in the end, but I think I'm probably not alone here that this is probably not the time to actively be targeting Erica. Here's why. I think Erica is the best kind of ally to have on Sequester because she is a big target and she's not gonna pick you to battle match against, which means that people will continue to target Erica, and if she keeps winning, as she has, then people will keep targeting Erica, and you will continue to not be in a battle match because she will keep not picking you. And so that's a pretty good spot to be if you can handle it correctly. However, he basically tells every single person over the course of the episode that he wants to get her out, and we'll talk about what happens at the end, but it's a risky maneuver here to be so open about this.
Yeah, I thought this was terrible on his part. I mean, I was contemplating, okay, like looking at the results and seeing that, he didn't get pulled again for the battle match, and so how do I feel about this overall? Is he playing the game of Sequester right, Kim? But ultimately, I come down on the side of Taran in that it feels like he has an ace in the hole and he just gives it away. It's like he's playing old maid and he has the ace and he just gives it away for a new card. He has somebody in his back pocket who literally does trust him within the game. She's like, she wears her heart on her sleeve. You can tell if Erica likes you or not. So I feel like, again, she's the best kind of ally to have because you know what you're going to get from her, and she's always going to be targeted ahead of you. And even if she is targeted, she won't pick you, like Taran said. So I don't know why he's so willing to give his ace in the hole away, but he don't care. Girl,
yeah,
he doesn't. He really does not care at all in this. I was just kind of taking a quick peek at my notes from this one, but bottom line was that they made an agreement. They were going to vote for separate people. They were going to do throwaway votes.
They were going to throw off. Yeah.
That's it. And they would throw off on two different people to avoid getting picked for the battle match. At this point, obviously, they don't know that everyone is already saying Erica.
Right.
It's going on in every conversation. Well,
mostly every conversation. Yeah. There's a
either
couple straight conversations.
Or Jess.
Yeah. Right.
Or Erica.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that there is a way to play this off for Hunter still. I think, but I do think he could have played it better in the moment. But we'll talk about that as we talk about more of the dates. We're of course also going to get the date that gives us the thumbnail for the episode, which is Jayla and Dustin, and this was just hilarious to me. That Jayla is like kind of just like playing around, goes in for a fake kiss on Dustin, and I actually rewound this because it was so good. But like you can actually see the moment where he's like, oh my god, like surprised, doesn't know what to do. Then he's like, this is happening, puts his arm, like starts to put his arm like around her a little bit, starts to go in, and then she backs away, and he's immediately just like, I thought that was happening. I really thought that was happening.
That was great. I will say, to me, Dustin, other than Eric at the end, star of the episode, gave me so many funny lines. Clearly is, to me, number one in the house, obviously running the shit here. Everybody seems to know it. Nobody seems to care. Even when he's talking about Tori, he's like, yeah, here, it's Erica. No one gives a shit about your stupid opinion. Like,
that was so good.
So cocky. He's running the shit out of this place, and he knows he's not being targeted. He's just worried about being picked for a battle match. I love Dustin almost. I don't think he really put a foot wrong this entire episode. He was the one person, to me, who was willing to get his nose out there and try to direct the conversation in a way that was to his liking, that helped him further his game, that opened up the field at the end for him. And he's keeping Tori and Cameron with him as a dynamic duo that will eventually be split up, and he can slide under the radar again. And he gave me some serious shade, as is pointed out in the chat by Bill, in the confessionals. I mean, like, basically he's giving me a lot of what Jayla gave me early on in the season, which is like good strategy, good TV, and great confessionals. And I don't think you can go wrong with that, Kim.
I agree with you. The only thing I didn't like about the first date was his confessional when he took off the hat, moved the hair, put the hat back on, and gave us the subtle shudder. And I was like, no, don't do it, Dustin.
He was great. I loved it. Good job, Dustin.
So this is the first time we learn from Jayla that she just completely misunderstood, that she thought that Erica had basically her own vote, and that when she saw Erica stand up, she, as Jess said, she saw red, and just went after Erica. And then of course we'll talk about Jess, but I love that she said she saw red, because that's exactly what happened. And also Jess was wearing red, and it seemed like, and Jess was also concerned that Jayla was mad at her because she was like, sit down and don't clap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can we talk about this just a little bit further? I don't understand, because so Jayla's going to say later on this episode, like, when I came back from the battle match, I was just really confused and I blacked out. And I'm like, bitch, you picked Erica before the battle match. Like, don't try to blame it on the battle match. It seemed like to me she was trying to blame it on the battle match. Like, oh, I was so tired from the battle match and I forgot what. No. That happened beforehand. Like, you picked Erica beforehand. So I don't know. Again, I just say I was an idiot. I didn't know what I was doing. I forgot the twist. I'm a moron. Moving on. Okay.
I think she was just pissed off when she saw Erica stand up, and it's like, oh my God, she voted for me.
I just peeled your oranges.
I just peeled your oranges.
Okay, let's. I have that written down
for you for 5 minutes.
Let me get this out about this. I'll stop coming for you, Jayla, but I've got to tell you this, okay? When you go on a show like Sequester that does not have like a wizard of editors in the back, okay? You cannot go to every goddamn date and every confessional and say the goddamn same thing. Every confessional, she was like saying the same freaking thing about the goddamn peeled oranges, and we have a place in our alliance and come to the winning side. Every time they cut to her, she was repeating the same 3 canned lines. It was like beyond the cringeworthiness of her being a complete idiot and forgetting the twist. She was giving us bad TV, which is like the last thing I would ever think that Jayla would do here, Kim. And she's your girl. This is the one person.
She's my girl.
You knew preseason, and I'm like, why does she keep like this? This is when people think they're funny and they repeat the same shit over and over again, and it just doesn't land well.
I have the feeling that she thought it worked the first time, so she carried it over the second time and the third time, because knowing that, I mean, her first date was with Zach. The first date was with Zach. Right?
No, first date was
first date. No, you're right. The first date was Zach. But
first date was Zach. Yeah, I know, right? It was so awkward. And they were like 5 feet apart. They were literally like, everybody else was like so close, and they were like 5 feet apart. Okay, go on.
And sitting on the edge of the bathtub, no less. Yeah. But I don't understand the whole bathroom thing, but I haven't asked Audrey about that at all. So this is the first place where she throws out a final 4. Come to the winning side. I'm going to be able to protect you until the final 4.
With what? Everyone just voted for you. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
I know. Kim, I feel like the Jayla, like, I don't know if she's good at this, but she really should have just fallen on her sword here and been like, I realized I got voted off for a reason, and I proved myself. I fought my way back. She's very big on saying that. Prove yourself. You got to prove yourself. Yeah. To someone like Erica, just proved herself last round. Shut up. Anyway, she likes to say that about proving herself, and I feel again she just repeats the same canned shit over and over again. It annoys the shit out of me. Okay, sit down.
And this is the first time she brought up voting out Erica. She brought it up to Zach.
Yeah, which really made their lives so easy. Like they were looking for a fourth vote or a fifth vote here because they just lost Thomas in the last round. They don't have a majority anymore. And there's Jayla, like a freaking golden goose, just giving away her vote, not realizing that like I said on Twitter, Jayla voting off her own allies is so Jayla. Like, she doesn't even realize she needs Erica to try to maintain the numbers here, and she doesn't give a flip about her. She's like, girl, bye.
Yeah. I don't know. I have to wonder if she was actually really oblivious to this whole big alliance with Zach and Thomas and Cameron and Tori.
Maybe because she's like napping.
She definitely doesn't know.
No, because if she did, she would start at the beginning getting somebody's name out there, because great. If it passes on, awesome. Guess what? It's not a vote for her. It's not a vote for Erica. Who's her one ally?
Yeah, Tori. Maybe you could say, well, Tori's like, she voted for her during the last round. Like, I mean, like, she was actively plotting against her because all of her friends wanted her out. She went along with the plan. So I don't even think you can really count Tori. Not even sure you can count Jessica. So I didn't even know who's an ally with Jayla at this point. But on the other hand, I don't know who's an ally of Erica. So that works both ways.
I mean,
Exactly.
Jayla has her head in a different game. Like, she is playing an entirely different game from the game that's happening in reality. And in that game, Erica betrayed her, and
Yes.
and so she's gonna spend basically the whole episode like, just, I need to get her back. We got to make this happen. And so that's Kim, you're right that it was Zach first that she talks to, and Dustin talks to Jess first, and Jess is gonna like propose like a Final Four alliance, and he's gonna be like, I can't promise anything, but I can tell you that it's not going to be you this round, because Dustin is very much, as Brent mentioned, feeling himself a bit here, and so that's about where that one went. They did talk a little bit about like Jayla or Erica, and at this point, Jess doesn't know if Jayla is mad at her, like what's happening. And Kim, you mentioned that they know date night is coming up, which really just makes it even worse that Jayla said, "Don't clap for me," in the middle of Jess clapping for her, where then she's not going to get a chance to talk to Jess potentially until the very end, which is basically what happened, which could have put her in an even more dangerous situation where even her own allies don't know if she's with them anymore. So Jess was essentially just like, I mean, I have to talk to Jayla first, but if she's mad at me, then I guess I'll be willing to let her go. And then we got Dustin and Jayla and everything that happened there. And so Dustin wants Erica out, and that's because he thinks that if Erica is voted out, then she's going to choose Jayla, because Jayla just chose her. However, I did find a flaw with this plan, which, I mean, eventually happened to some degree at least, where you have to know that Jayla's operating under a faulty assumption. She does not know that Erica did not mean to vote for her. She has not had a chance to speak to Erica yet. If I'm Dustin, then I'm thinking, well, even though she's under a false assumption right now, which kind of works to my benefit, she at some point in this round is going to have a one-on-one conversation with Erica where it's almost impossible that this misunderstanding does not get cleared up. So the chances of Jayla picking Erica again for personal reasons are actually pretty slim. And since Jayla doesn't seem to be the kind of person that would pick somebody in a battle match for strategic purposes, then I don't think that she's going to be picking Erica. And at one point he even says, I think she'll pick either me or Erica. And if that's what he actually thought, then he would have been in some deep trouble me or Jayla. I mean, he was worried that Erica was going to pick Jayla. So then it would have been him that would have been picked if that were the case. So I was a little bit concerned in that sense, Brent, about Dustin's plan here.
I guess. I feel like he was playing it probably the best he can. He's just like, to me, it was just really realizing this unique aspect of Sequester where like he's not really worried about the votes at this point. He's more worried about being pulled for the battle matches. And he's really one of maybe other than Hunter, one of the few people that I've seen who's really actively trying to like guide the votes in a way so that it lands on somebody who they know then will not pick them for the battle match. But that's so hard to predict. I feel like that's tough. But on the other hand, sometimes you can predict it, like we're going to get eventually this round.
Yes. All right. So we also see that I believe Jess talks to Zach next.
Yes, Jess and Zach.
Yes.
It is Jess and Zach.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Zach, like, again, I love this episode because I really felt like we nailed down like who each of these people are, and we pretty much knew who Zach was, but this was just such a great example of Zach all episode long, where even his allies had conversations with him and were like, this guy, I have no respect for him. He just does anything I say, and I don't even like that it's happening. And so...
Yeah, this was. Let's talk about this real quick, because so even though I know that he's on the date with Jessica, but there's this great scene with Dustin and Zach where he's like, this guy is just like has no spine to him. He has no like intestinal fortitude, as Rob would say. Like he just like you say like, hey, dude, like I love like Mariah Carey. He's like, no,
Nickelback is cool.
Yeah, Nickelback is cool, and I like the color, mauve.
Look at this photograph.
look, like Nickelback is cool, and I like the color mauve. Yeah, I'm like, that was so Zach, Dustin. Like, I really, I love that. Like, that's exactly how I feel about Zach's game. Is like, you can literally just tell him to do anything. He's such a great like tool to have within the game. So like, I was gonna make a joke about him being a tool for somebody, but anyway,
I was waiting for it, Brent.
You know, it was too easy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that when we looked at the cast previews, I was like, this guy is going to be very useful to somebody in this game. He's just so perfectly that character. And even in the confessionals, he's just like, yeah, so now I'm aligned with these two, and so I'm just going to have to pick which one I think I'm going to be in the final two with. I don't know if I can beat either of them.
You know what we need to do, Kim? We need to go back. We need to find his audition video. We need to find how the hell did he get on the show? That's what I want to know. How the hell did he get on the show? Because Audrey goes out of her way to find like 20 freaking alpha people, like a great ensemble of characters. And I know this is not what she bargained for when she got Zach on the show. So what the hell happened here? Do you know?
You know what? Maybe he got stage fright. I don't know. Maybe once all the other alpha characters came into play, Zach moved back like a turtle going in his shell. He's tough as long as his head's out there, but as soon as someone comes at him, into the shell.
Can we deny though that he's seemingly playing one of the best games in the whole show? He's held on to an LOS longer than I've ever seen in Sequester.
You get nothing for second place. You get 0 for second place. You have to win the game, and he is not playing a winning game. I take back what I said last week, because I was like, Cameron can't win against anybody. Cameron could have beat Zach 100%. Cameron could have beat Zach. That was her ticket to the end, was going through Zach. But I don't think she could have beat anybody else, though. And like, he's just like such a juicy goat for somebody to try to get with them to the end. But we'll talk about later on, but the machinations of the end in the final four and how it works that make that a little hard to do, Kim. So I don't know if it's going to be that easy for somebody like Dustin to drag Zach with him to the end.
He can try, but God, he's going to have to rope him up and drag him across the field to get there.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants Zach to be their goat at the end.
Yeah, I feel like Zach's the person you have to get out of the game, because you know everybody's going to want to try to get him to the end. Like, that's somebody who's going to be sitting in one of those final two chairs. You have to get rid of him. You have to. You cannot let anybody have the chance to try to somehow finagle their way and get Zach with them at the end.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
So then we see, I think was it Hunter and Cameron?
Let's see.
It doesn't matter.
Hunter and Cameron.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Hunter and Cameron.
So
because one of
I have Hunter and Cameron. Cameron continuing her bad gameplay from the last round, where she blew off Hunter needlessly, and that's going to pay more dividends this round, where Hunter is like, I see you, I see what you're doing, you're totally blowing me off, you're just telling me what I want to hear here. And like, again, I'll give you this. Watching Cameron continue to put her foot in her mouth round after round, date after date, was thrilling for me in particular, because I was like, see, this is why she's playing bad. This is why she's playing bad, Kim.
Yeah, no, she literally almost turned the table on Hunter, saying, you were using me. That's why I gave you the hand and said, bye, girl, I've got to go talk to other people.
Yeah, it wasn't me. It was you. It was your fault.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't me. It was you.
Yeah. A lot of Cameron's conversations turn into like, it's funny. A lot of them are basically, they start off. So it's Erica, right? We're voting Erica. We agree completely. All right. Now let's argue for the next 2 minutes.
Yes. Oh my God.
That's right. How many people did she argue with? Out of 7, 5, 6?
Hunter, Erica, Tori. She didn't argue with Zach. That was the funniest one. She was like Erica. Cool. Gotcha. Gotcha. That was like.
Well, she already yelled at Zach about the LOS thing.
Yeah, that's true. She already did that. She's already done that like 4 times. So yeah.
Right.
We didn't need that again. Yeah. Yeah. She yelled at a majority of the people, and she got mad at Jessica. Like Jessica, she was not mad, but condescending with Jessica. The way she opened up, talked about the alliance and the spots, and Jessica and the confessionals, like. Cameron, I am so trying with you. I am trying, but you're making it so hard.
I love Jess. I love Jess in this episode.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh my God.
So then, of course, we have Erica and Tori, and that's just more awkward. Like it seems as though Erica spends a lot of time talking in these conversations, which if you're Erica, that's the opposite of what you want to do. You want to listen as much as possible, but she's really talking at people a lot, and I don't love the way she's doing it either. It's not very inviting. In this conversation, it felt very transparent. Like it was a lot of, so I don't know. I just, it's not a big deal. We can work together. I don't know, maybe I don't know, but maybe that we can do something like that.
But I don't know.
If you throw in "I don't know" as your filler word, it probably means you're not exactly being honest in this conversation. It probably means that you're not feeling very gung ho about working with Tori.
Here's the
not
thing.
that anything would have worked, but
I agree. I'll say this though. At least Erica seemed to be aware of the fact that Tori's the good cop and Cameron's the bad cop. She's like, look, like I got no problem with you, but as long as you hang out with Cameron, like we're going to continue to have problems because some of the bullshit that Cameron pulls is going to be put on you. You need to know that ahead of time. Tori's like, yeah, I totally get that. But like, I had no personal problem with you. So it was a lot of bullshit, but I did feel like Tori behaved in a manner that at least did not antagonize Erica, who was going to be the likely vote here. And she made sure that she wasn't going to be selected for the battle match, unlike other people later on.
Yeah.
Tori is a psych major. She graduated. She's got a degree in psychology.
Okay.
If you notice when she's talking one-on-one to people, and of course date night is all one-on-one, Tori repeated back to people what they said. So what you're saying is, so tell me how you feel about, and I just wanted them to roll a couch in there, go ahead and let the patient lay on the couch and let Tori do her psychoanalysis going on, because and none of them even commented or caught on to this. If someone's repeating back to me my words, it's one, to verify what I'm saying so that they can pass it on. And it's two, because it shows interest in what you're saying. So every person walked away from Tori going, yeah, she was interested in what I had to say. She was listening to me.
Yeah, so what you're saying is that when somebody repeats their your own words back to you, it makes you feel heard and it makes you feel good about the person that's doing it.
It validates my feelings. That is what Tori did for every person. She validated their feelings about what was going on and never agreed with any of them.
Yeah, what a great point. No, I agree. I think that it really goes along with something that I've been noticing about Tori, which is I think she has good instincts. Like I talked about it last episode when she was trying to calm Hunter down from his big blow up, when it seemed like she was making some progress, but it's like she knows the like on paper what I should be doing, and she does those things, but it's the actual action of it, the execution of it, that I feel like she sometimes falters with. And I think a large part of that is that that sort of contrast where she opened the show saying, I'm just always going to be genuine, but then she's just always got that look in her eye that's like, I'm a little bit better than you, right? Like, you know this. We both know this.
We both know this.
Right?
It's a thing.
Yeah.
You did, and you did it perfectly. You did the head tilt and everything, Taran.
Thank you.
I'm a little bit better than you.
Yeah. Speaking of Hunter's blow up in the last episode, though, he brought you into it. Said he did not want to be a Kim Mattina. How did you feel about that when you were watching that?
I knew what he meant. But the difference was, I did not have to battle people in the hallway going, no, we don't want to talk to you right now. I just had a door closed. That's all. All I had to do was get through the door. And Jake and I were both out there going, okay, eventually somebody's going to come out. Once Cameron came out, boom, I was able to go in. And that's when they filled me in on their plan. I'm a final five with them and all that bullshit.
There's a spot open for you, Kim, if you want to take it.
Come to the winning side.
Okay, think about it. That's literally what Hamza did to me on date night on the first night, when I was like, so what are you seeing as the end? Oh, I'm seeing me and Cameron and Jesse and probably CJ and you. You could be our fifth.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
It's like, go to hell, Hamza.
Yeah.
And I think I literally told him that. Try again.
Yeah, that's the difference between you and I will say this. Like I said, season 2 cast has it all over season 3 in terms of date night, because they had like definitive plans and they went after people and they had targets and they wouldn't take any bullshit. I feel like as long as it wasn't you in this round, you were fine. Like Hunter, Jessica, like Jayla to a certain extent, as long as it's not you, you were fine this round. And as I said on Twitter, when you have everybody, and seemingly everybody, with the exception of, I will say, Dustin and Cameron, when everybody is playing the Sandra Diaz Twine, it's anybody but me game from Survivor, it doesn't make for a very compelling show. Like Hunter, I see what you're doing. You're as long as it doesn't fall on me, I'm totally fine. But it makes really bad television when everybody else in the cast is also playing that way. And I know you can't be held accountable for everybody else in the cast, but goddamn, it looks bad. And that's why I feel like this season's falling just a little bit flat with me, with a lot of these people. Say what you want about Cameron, and I have, but she is a lot more compelling of a character than a lot of these people that are left on the show right now.
Absolutely. I think Cameron's a great villain. She plays the villain role well. She just didn't execute it well, to quote Taran many, many, many times.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, with date night, nobody can close the door on you. You have one-on-one time where nobody's going to walk in on you, where this is where you get to execute and find the cracks and move up. They walked in the door and went, yeah, everybody's voting for Erica. Okay, how about setting up a Final Four? They were not looking for the cracks to be able to get to that Final Four.
Like Hunter, what's your plan for? I still go back to the first date he had with Erica during the first round, where he was like, you know what, I'm totally willing to let her go here. I just felt like that was such a bad play. Like, you might as well like agree on a target with Erica, try to play a game of telephone with your other two possible remaining allies in the game. Like, you have a little bit of a relationship with Tori. Maybe you can do something with Jessica. Maybe you can somehow get to 4 here and create something. Worst case scenario, if you don't come up with the majority here and they still vote Erica out, you're not one of the people who voted for Erica. You're not going to have to stand up here. You might as well, like, my point is, Sequester is a game because they don't read the votes and you don't know who voted for who. Like, Sequester is a game that rewards aggression. There is no reason why Hunter should not be trying to create an alternate alliance here to what is actively happening in the game. And he knows what's happening in the game because he had the door shut in his face, but he does absolutely nothing about it. It's only by the grace of God that he's still in a relatively good position, because if things play out as they should have, and the two people who've gone out the last 2 rounds, in Thomas and Cameron, are still in the game, he's in an awful position going into the final 7. He's going to have to go battle match just to get to the Final 4. And it's only, again, by the grace of the battle matches that he's not in such a bad position as he should be.
Yeah, I mean, it's very true. I think that in a lot of ways, you know, being aggressive is more acceptable in Sequester, but it's not always the safest way to go. And in a game where basically it's a little bit like the battle match in season 2, where they had to take a step and like they could take a misstep, like they could step on a mine. Like, that's Sequester. Like, every single step you take might be a mine, and when that's the game and there's a lot of steps ahead of you, I think that sort of compels you to play in a safe way. And I think that the way around that is casting so many alphas in a season that none of them can handle not being the person directing the steps. But I feel like this season we do have fewer of those alphas, and we have more people who are trying to play a little bit smarter, trying to play a little bit like, you know what, if the longer I last in this game, the more of a chance I have to just get lucky and win.
I guess it's like, here's the thing. Okay, I'm just being real with you for a second. Like, okay, we cover the show just like it's Big Brother, just like it's Survivor. But at the end of the day, there's only $2,500. I don't want to say only $2,500, but it's $2,500. It's not $500,000 at the end, okay? And I know that these people are playing for the money, but I'm just trying to make the point that you should go for the gusto here. You should try to make some good TV and give us a great show. I don't understand why people are playing like this. Like, if this is not what happened on season 2. People are playing like much safer this round. Even Jessica, who I was like coming for on Twitter, like, she also was totally willing to let Erica go here. And she's going to have a little aside to Hunter later on, like round 6, like, hey, there's 4 of us. We could do something here. But of course, it's date night, and so they can't do anything. But she never tried in the first place. She was already like totally willing to accept Erica going out of the game here. You may not like Erica, but you kind of need her as a number right now, because these people over here have no place for you whatsoever. regardless of what Cameron's saying in her little spiel about we have a place for you opening up in our alliance. So I didn't understand. Like, I didn't like anybody's gameplay aside from Dustin. Ugh.
You know what? And Brent, I've been saying this to you since about week 2. They're scared. They are playing a very scared game, and it showed more in date night tonight than I think any other round. They were all scared to throw out a name, who to vote for. They were scared to find the crack and literally drive a wedge in that crack. And they were scared to look at the next 4 people on the dates. Instead, they're looking at a final 4.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're thinking mentally, I mean, I knew at date 3 who I had left to talk to and who those people had left to talk to, because the first thing we said on date night as people came in and sat with me was, okay, so who have you already talked to and who do you still have dates with? Okay, that's how you get that telephone game going. And you've got to know this.
But they didn't care, Kim.
Round.
They didn't care. They just sat there and took their medicine. They just said, like, they were totally fine. Jessica, Hunter, Jayla, even Erica to a certain extent were totally fine just sitting there, taking their medicine, eating their cereal. Like Erica and Hunter are like, we're gonna throw off. We're gonna pray it's not us. And if the target isn't us, then we won't be picking the person who's going to be selecting the battle match participant.
Right.
Like, hope is not a strategy. I don't know how many times I have to say this.
I do hear you. But if they do play in a way that allows them to survive this round, then there are only 3 more rounds until the final 4, where theoretically anything could happen. True. And that's 3, like, even worst case scenario, and you get in the battle match for all 3 rounds. Like, that's not the worst thing in the world at that point. And the chances of you being in all 3 rounds are pretty slim to begin with, especially if you're somebody like Jessica. So I probably would play this way. And I think it also comes down to what you said earlier, Brent, which is that second place doesn't mean anything. This is a game about winners. Right. And being the winner more than anything else, and Kim can probably attest to this, is what makes you remembered. Like, Kim Mattina is the winner of season 2. If you talk about season 2, you're going to talk about Kim before anybody else. And it doesn't even matter how it happened. You are the winner. You're the person that's going to be remembered the most. And so if you play to win, then you are in a way also playing to make a name for yourself. More so than somebody who plays hard, like maybe Judd, but goes out halfway through the game, right? Like, right. So I feel like I can see where this is coming from. And also, this is a season that came right off of season 2, where if they watched that season, then they watched time after time after time, big aggressive players being their own downfall over and over and over, playing too hard, getting eliminated. And then in the first half of this season, it was people playing too hard, getting eliminated. It's not too surprising to me that the result of all of this is that we've trained these players to play it a bit safer, because that's kind of the best way to play at the moment.
Well, really, really, you sounded like Dustin for a minute there. Really, the only ones, though, that I think that are playing safe, not necessarily scared, but safe, are Jessica, and Zach.
They're playing safe, not scared.
They're playing safe, not necessarily scared.
I agree.
Tori, I don't think is playing scared. Well, yeah, Tori's playing scared. She doesn't want anyone coming for her because she feels like she's a target. Yeah, she is.
She can't believe her dumb luck. I feel like that's what's happening.
I don't know why nobody's targeting. Like, all of a sudden I'm like, is Tori gonna win this thing? Because nobody's touching her, and if she gets there, she wins.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely, because she has been. Her name's come up, not necessarily as a target, but her name has come up from.
Hasn't come up since jury started. Nobody's ever talked about targeting Tori. Ever since the jury started, no one's ever laid a vote on Tori. I don't think. Maybe a vote, but no one's ever targeted her
since she came back from the battle match. No, who has brought up Tori's name at all? Nobody. She just won the battle match.
2 of them.
Nobody brings her up.
Yeah. And I think the thing for Tori is, though, that because of the sort of like back-to-back battle match wins, that a lot of people do see her as a huge threat. If she gets to the end, she'll probably win, and that might make the final four impossible for her, especially if people like Cameron are not willing to go with her. Maybe Zach is the piece that she needs. If Zach is willing to sort of be like, well, I guess I have a better shot against Tori because Cameron's gone now, so I guess I'm in a final two with Tori. So, I don't know. Maybe that's how it happens.
I just keep picturing the final four with Zach in the final four. It doesn't really matter who the other three are, but having three people looking at Zach going, vote with me, vote with me. We're going to point over here, vote with me. And he's going to be so confused on who he's voting with because he has no fucking idea who's doing what.
Yeah, just to be clear, for those of you who've never watched Sequester before, I know we have a lot of new viewers of Sequester. Like the Final Four works differently than other reality shows. It literally is four people sitting around a table. You have like 3 to 5 minutes to decide openly in an open forum who you want to vote out. At the end of those minutes, you have to basically vote out the person that you want to vote out. And that fourth place person then gets to select the third place person that they want to drag with them to the jury, leaving the final two. So it's an interesting mechanism at the final four where the fourth place person basically gets to enact their revenge on whoever might have betrayed them or whoever they don't like and drag somebody with them to the jury, giving us the final two. So it's not as easy as just like dragging Zach to the end and getting him to pick you to sit in the final two chairs. It doesn't work like that. You have to find a way to maneuver around this final four twist, and they know it's coming. That's the interesting thing that I love about Sequester is that they really, they don't tell them all the twists ahead of time, but they do tell them this one. They know at the final four that going into this season that this is what's going to happen at the final four. You know it ahead of time. They also knew that the battle back was going to happen at the final 11, that there was going to be one buyback to come back into the game. So I love that the show has like tons of integrity. There's no producer shenanigans happening here. Like they keep everything out in front. I do like that the contestants can plan for that. Like unlike say Survivor, where they just drop a fire-making twist on you at the final four and heroes versus hustlers versus whatever the hell and like totally F your game up, even though it never should have been screwed up. Love you, Chrissy. Bye. Okay.
All right. So back to the dates.
Yes.
They are going to continue. I think that, the ball gets rolling for Erica to be the one to go. Hunter is spreading Erica. Dustin is spreading Erica. So it's coming around. Zach is now informed that it's Erica, not Jayla. Jess is being informed that it's Erica. Jess did have a moment with Zach where she was essentially just to make sure that this is not on me, because it could have been if Tori had a say in this. She makes sure that she wants to use the information that she knows that there's a rumor that Zach has an LOS, and so she wants to start to pin some of that on Erica and she's don't tell anybody I told you this. But after whoever said you had an LOS, Erica came and confirmed it to us. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if you have. I don't even know if it's true. But I thought this was again great stuff from Jess. We've seen her do something similar with Jordan earlier in the season. She's very good at something that I think is very difficult in Sequester, at just dropping little pieces of information that can start things that blow up or that help her in some way. And I say it's very difficult to do because everybody tries to do this. Every single person in that game tries to do this, but it's usually very obvious and it usually comes out immediately that you were the person that said it. But Jess, seemingly so far at the very least, has managed to stay anonymous, and they still think she's not doing anything when she's actually been dropping pieces of information here.
Yeah, I will give you that. You said that listening to the conversations between these people on the dates, like it really helped you flesh out like the standard of the house and who's running stuff and who's at the bottom and how these people see each other. It's apparent to me that they, again, do not have a very high assessment of Jessica insofar as we do. We, as the audience, see what's happening with her. We love her. We stan her. We'd probably vote for her if she got to the end. But I don't think that the people in the game necessarily share our view of her, Kim.
I think that if she gets to the end, she has got a fantastic story to tell, because her moves, she's made a lot of moves, but they don't know that. And I think she's going to shock the hell out of the jury if she gets to the end. They might be looking at her as another goat. They might be looking at her as Zach, except in a female version. but she is not. And
yeah,
it's going to come down to how she tells her story if she gets there.
By the way, we talked about the Final Four twist and how it works. I am hopeful, as someone noted in the chat when they said Zach is probably the third place finisher, I am hopeful that whoever does go out in fourth place will not allow Zach to sit in the final two chairs. I am praying that whoever goes out in fourth place realizes that you're just handing somebody else the win and giving us a dud final by doing that. So please do not let Zach sit at the end in the final two chairs.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, we're talking about somebody who's bitter, with bitter jurors or things, and I don't think I would be a bitter juror. At least I would try not to be. But if I were a bitter juror and I was the person going out in fourth place and I was choosing between two people and Zach, then I would be like, I can choose the winner right now by putting them right next to Zach.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And now my fingerprints are all over this because I'm bitter and that's what I need to feel better about myself for losing.
You know what? How many times do we see it on Survivor, on Big Brother, when they go to jury and it's like, oh, they'll calm down. By the time it gets to the finale, they will have calmed down and they'll talk it through with everybody else. Remember, Sequester's 5 days.
Yeah, I know.
Start to finish. So when you're hitting day 2, day 3, and it's jury, those people are literally in jury for like 2 days.
Yeah, I know.
They do not. Some of them do calm down, and some of them do not calm down.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I see CJ in the chat.
CJ in the chat says, Taran, I feel attacked right now.
Who said that?
CJ.
Oh my God.
our guest for next week, by the way. Yeah.
CJ.
There you go.
Yes, CJ from Sequester season 2. She was the fourth place finisher, and Taran and I famously talked about her play at the Final Four.
Don't pull a CJ at the Final Four is, I think, the way to say that.
CJ was definitely bitter, and yeah, CJ was bitter. But towards Jake, the whole game, the entire game. Let me just say.
Okay, all right. Oh, T, I like it.
So what were we talking about before that?
Well, we were talking about the dates. At this point, it doesn't even make sense. We don't care.
Yeah.
Because we know.
You know what? Like, everybody here on out. It's
okay.
going to be
Erica.
It's going to be Erica won't. Oh, Erica and Dustin, where she didn't actually even let Dustin talk at all.
Yeah, I'll say that. Erica, I love you,
bad.
Erica, I love you, but you yap too much. You do what I do, which is just like you just talk over people and you don't let them like if you like broke down everything by the end of this podcast, it would be like Brent 50%, Taran 20%, Kim 30%. Like I mean, like that's definitely Erica. Like I'm self-aware enough to know that's me, and yet you're in a reality show and you're doing the same shit. Stop it.
Yeah, just an episode ago, she was like, "Man, Hunter is the one that's being a big like out there target, and I'm just sitting back all of a sudden. It's like the roles have reversed, and then one episode later, it's flipped around again."
Yeah.
But we were talking about just one final word on Jessica and her chances of winning a jury. I think the important thing with Jess is that while they don't respect her right now, they do like her a lot.
Yes.
And I think that liking her can much more easily lead to respecting. I think that they will be looking for reasons to respect her, especially if she's sitting next to somebody that they don't like. And I think she's also somebody who is well-spoken enough and intelligent enough to explain why they should respect her. So I actually feel like she has a pretty good chance if she makes it.
That's a very fair point. We've talked about that before in reality TV, that a lot of times it's not about who you respect, it's about who you like sitting at the end, who you're willing to put your key in the box for or whatever. So I can definitely see that she might be able to pull out a win.
I think ultimately it comes down to who you respect more, but who you like can play into who you respect in a major way. So I do think she's got a good shot. So yes, more talk. Mostly it's just going to be Erica. Hunter's going around. Dustin's going around. Now Zach is confirming. And Tori continues to be like, it's Jess. It's Jess. Until finally Dustin is like, it's not Jess. It's Erica. She's like, oh no, I've been saying Jess. And I love, this is the line of the episode for me,
right?
Where Dustin's like, she was like, oh no, I've been saying Jess. Did I mess up the plan? Like, no, nobody gives a shit, Tori. Nobody cares what you say.
That was so informative to me. Like how he feels insofar as Tori and his place in the house. Like he's feeling his nuts, man. He feels great about his place in the house. Like he's just running the shit out of this house, and I can't wait to see if he's able to take it home. Can't him. Like if Dustin is the winner of the season, I'm happy. I wouldn't have said that a couple weeks ago, but if Dustin is the winner of the season, I'm happy with the way the season played out because I can see the threads. I can see what he's doing. I can see it from the confessionals. I know what's happening. I can't say that about everybody who's remaining in the game, but I can certainly see that about him.
Yeah, it would also be a pretty great like story arc to have the guy who in the first episode was like just hovering around a conversation in the pool,
picking up leaves.
Picking up leaves.
Yeah.
So that happens, and then some more just stuff around. So Jayla's finally going to discover from Erica that oh wait a minute, okay. Oh, see, what happened was
blah
blah blah nonsense. She still doesn't know what she's talking about, right? Like I think in this moment she's still confused, but like now Erica is telling her, no, you're wrong, and she's like, oh no, yeah, you know what? Now I've got it. But she doesn't really have it yet, and she's trying to explain why she now has it, but she's still confused. And so I think I don't know what is happening here. Maybe she still is not like fully trusting that Erica like is true about what she's saying at this point. But she's just like, all right, so yes, I did mess up, and I should not have picked you for the battle match, and you did not intentionally vote for me, but I am voting for you now.
See, here's the thing.
I'm voting for you this round.
Kim, I feel like Jayla played this badly, and it's only because Cameron's going to play worse in the last round that she's not going to get picked to battle here. Because I feel like Jayla could have handled this so much better. I recognize it's date night. It's a game of telephone. You don't have a chance to change the plans. You've been saying Erica for 5 freaking rounds now, and of course, you realize you made a mistake, and Erica really didn't vote for you, but now it's too late to change the plan. I get you saying, you know what, Erica, I have to vote for you. I do think, Jayla, you could have handled this a lot better by saying to Erica, look, I don't want to vote for you, but everybody else is voting for you. Like I've talked to these people. They're all voting for you. I do not want to be like ostracized here. Honey, I love you, but I have to vote you out. Like, I feel like you could have done that, but instead you put your foot in your mouth and you should have been picked for battle again until Cameron plays worse in the last round and totally absolves you of your sins.
Yeah, I agree. This and like maybe this is a case of just like she had gone too far. Like she felt like she'd put too much into this idea that she hated Erica, that like she wasn't emotionally ready to turn around on that in a 3-minute conversation.
Well, she feels like an idiot, as she should.
Right. So it's a lot to process in a short period of time, I guess, that like, oh, I've been an idiot and she was loyal to me, so I shouldn't be mad at her, but I'm still mad about something. I'm mad that I messed up, and I don't like being mad at myself. It's easier to be mad at somebody else. And so, look, ultimately, there's still some blame here.
Ultimately,
on you
did something, Erica. I don't know what you did, but you know what you did, and I'm gonna have to vote for you. That's what's happening.
Ultimately, it's just the way it is, Kim.
And you know what? There's the old saying that it's not what you say to people, it's how you make them feel when you say it. And so she could have said the exact same thing to Erica as you guys just pointed out, and made Erica go, oh, okay, well, I understand how you were confused. You know, she could have pulled a total Tori on her right there.
Right.
So what you're saying is you did not understand the rules, and that's why you were mad at me. So how did that make you feel? But she didn't do that either.
Yeah,
I mean, really, that's what Jayla needed in that moment, I think. But Brent, you were also completely right that this was a great opportunity for Jayla to be like, okay, I messed up. I am so sorry. But I know now that literally everybody is voting for you, and they think that I'm really mad at you. So there's nothing that we can do at this point to save you. tell me how you feel about this, but if I do continue to vote for you this round, and you survive the battle match, then we can play up that we still hate each other and use that to our advantage moving forward.
That would have been great. That would have been strategy from Jayla. That would have been wonderful from Jayla. But instead, we got none of that.
No, not
that would
quite.
have been ideal. And like Brent said, the only thing that exceeded how bad that was is the next date between Erica and Cam. And this does go down as probably one of my top 10.
Probably a little
unworthy.
Probably a little unlucky. A little unlucky for Cameron to get her last date with Erica. Well, like this is the last thing. Go ahead, Tori.
You can call it unlucky, but I think it kind of balances out in the end because Cam knows for sure right now that the votes are going on Erica. She knows where her vote is going. It's on Erica. So she has all the information she needs to play this conversation to the fullest extent of her own advantage, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Like, she knows all the votes are going on Erica. I'm voting for Erica. So I'm going to try to be as nice to Erica as possible. I'm going to try to get her to not pick me. And then if she feels like she didn't succeed and that Erica might pick her for the battle match, there's only 3 rounds left. Maybe now is the time to jump ship and throw a vote away and be like, sorry guys, I knew she was gonna pick me. We really got into it because you know where all the other votes are going.
Exactly. Thank you. That's what I kept thinking was you guys were just duking it out. You know, she even said right there, I know that she's gonna pick me. And it's like, then why did you vote her? This would have been the perfect time to do that throwaway.
You can even, I think that you could even play it off like she basically told me that she was going to pick me. We got into it right before the vote. I'm so sorry, guys, but I really felt like if I wasn't available, then she might end up picking Jayla instead, and then we would have been in a great spot. But, you know, it turns out she ended up picking, you know, whoever it was
Tori
that she
or
picked,
whatever,
right?
whoever.
But, like, there's a justifiable defense there to some degree. And again, there's only 3 more rounds until the final 4. At that point, even if your allies do turn on you, they got bigger problems to deal with. I think this is potentially one of those moments where you know for a fact this is happening. You're not in any danger otherwise. This is probably a good opportunity to throw your vote away.
Plus, she already knew. She knew where Erica's vote was going. Erica told her, "I'm voting for. I'm doing a throwaway vote on Dustin." Mm-hmm. So she already knew that.
Yeah, she knew where all the bodies were buried. You're so right, Taran. I called it unlucky in the beginning, and maybe it was, but she really had everything laid out in front of her. She could, you know what? If she went, here's the thing: if Cameron, if you went into this date with Erica and you said, you know what, I'm gonna let this bitch have it. I'm gonna let her have it. I'm gonna tell her why I don't like her. I'm gonna go through the list as much as I can get through in 3 minutes. I'm gonna let her have it, and I'm gonna feel better about myself. And then at the end, if I feel like she's gonna pick me, I'm gonna throw off. That's all you got to do.
Yep.
Like all you got to do. If you want to have your moment, if you want to hand it to her and let her know you're pissed off at her, which of course she wants to do. She's so passive aggressive during this entire conversation. All she needs to do is just throw off. She know and again, if she's worried about her own allies, be like, look, she told me she was going to pick me. I had to throw off here. I absolutely had to, and they would have totally understood. Like, I mean, you can say, well, maybe they wouldn't have understood, but fuck them. You're down to the final 7 at this point. Who cares? Wow.
And not for nothing, like, throw out some of those, like, you know, so Jayla came in here really gung-ho about you. Also, Hunter was really gung-ho about
she waited until
up.
she was out of the game to do this. What the hell, Cameron? Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened? We get down to the vote, and we're gonna have the vote reveal here. They all looked great, by the way. Dressed up in their date night outfits.
Didn't they look nice?
Yeah.
They did.
Yes, they did.
They're a very nice looking cast.
It's very true.
They really are.
So in the morning, vote is revealed. I believe everybody except for Hunter votes to eliminate Erica. And this is, of course, Hunter. He was planning on doing this from the start. We'll see how they feel, how the rest of the house feels about that, because he threw his vote. I think that if I am Hunter, then there's, again, so I talked about how I felt like there's a better way for Hunter to play this. I feel like there's a lot of room for Hunter to be a little less aggressive about being the person, to take out Erica in these conversations. If he kind of like sees that this is the general direction of where things are going, just kind of being like, you know what, I have hurt Erica. I'm willing to let it happen. She is a big threat to win the game. And then, similar to what I said about Jayla, vote for Erica, and then afterward be like, Erica, I'm so sorry. Or even like when you have to stand up, like maybe he's worried that she'll pick him because he betrayed her as one of all of the votes. Yeah. But even just like, just give a little bit of like, just trust me, like I have an explanation. Like I feel like she wouldn't have picked him, and I feel like it might have given him a little more leeway here to again play up a rift between him and Erica, and or pretend that he actually was in the house. I think that he really exposed himself as betraying his ally and then betraying the people he betrayed his ally to vote with. I have to imagine that he is like, I mean, he got lucky and Erica's still in the house. So Erica's still there, but I have to imagine that he is right next to her in terms of targets.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to get lucky here, because let's look at the battlefield. If Erica goes out of the game here, Cameron's still in the game. He totally knew that everybody was voting for Erica. He was the one person who didn't vote for Erica, Kim. He's that guy. He's that Curtis from season 1. He's that person who's throwing off, who will not vote with the rest of the house in order to try to keep himself safe. But in doing so, you're pissing off everybody else. I have to think if Erica goes out here, Hunter is target numero uno going into the final 7.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's sketchy because they can't trust him to be a number for them when they choose to vote. Like if they're discussing who they're voting for, they can't trust that he'll actually vote that way.
Exactly.
And it also looks like jury management, which means like, oh, if he's playing for the jury like that, then I don't want to be sitting next to him in the finals. It's a lot of negatives. Again, throwing your vote away, it is a risky move. I don't think you should do it unless you know that you are going to be chosen and you have a great excuse, exactly. in that situation. So everybody stands up. And
except Hunter.
Except for Hunter. And Erica decides to choose Cameron because they just the night before they had just gotten into it. And she says that she's not into the whole picking who she thinks she can beat. She wants to go for the person that's after her the most.
We stand you, queen. You've given us good TV, but you're not trying to give us good TV. You're just like, you know what? I don't believe in that bullshit about trying to pick the weak person. I'm going to go after the person who I am annoyed the shit with right now. I want Cameron's ass. Bring me Cameron's head. I want it. That's what she said.
It's funny for me, too, because I think that there is merit to it. I think that, especially the field as it currently stands, I think they're all pretty even. So
I would say, yeah.
I don't think there's an easy pick for like, this is my easy beat. And so I do think there's merit even in that circumstance to pick somebody that's not the easy beat, because if you win, then you get more respect. And I think you have a better chance of, winning in the end and of not being chosen for the next one because they're scared of you, so on and so forth. But if I were in the game, I would respect the person who picks the easy beat the most, because that's the better strategic move theoretically. If everybody, if people don't get too mad at you for it, right? And that's where I think like the cast you're playing against is really important. Big Brother Canada 2 was in the final 3. It was a situation where if anybody had taken the easy beat, or if anybody had not taken the easy beat, they wouldn't have been respected. Right. But in another season of Big Brother or Sequester, when you do take the easy beat, you are not respected, because that's not respectable. So people respect different things, and that's
it's about knowing your jury.
Yeah, you got to know what I would respect, or be more inclined to respect at the very least.
And I feel like that this is even harder in Sequester because you have such few amount of time with these people, Kim, as you noted. Like the jury starts on like day 3 and finishes on like day 5, so they only have like 2 days with these juries, and it's not like they can even see their expressions. Like this season, Audrey started bringing in the jury once it started happening. You see them in their red cloaks and their red masks, so you don't even see what their expressions are or who they're necessarily favoring, like when people pick things for the battle match. But again, I was thrilled that Erica picks Cameron here, and I do enjoy that the editors included at the end, because we're all wondering this: why didn't Erica pick Zach to flush that LOS. And we got a good explanation, one that I was completely satisfied with from Erica's point of view. She doesn't know for sure that Zach has an LOS. She's heard about it. She thinks maybe he does, but she's never seen it. And she realizes if I pick him to try to flush his LOS and he doesn't have one, I'm going to have to battle Zach. And I mean, you can debate whether or not that's important or not, but she decides that she's going to go a different route here and actually battle Cameron.
Yeah. And so if that is the thought process for why nobody has chosen Zach up until this point, I do think it makes some amount of sense. If they don't know for sure that he has it, then they don't want to get stuck battle matching him if they do pick him. That said, still, I feel like, again, unless it's like overtly physical, if anything, Zach might be a great person to go against. Imagine playing the step on the mind game against Zach, right? Like, you're right.
Which, by the way, happened to have been the battle match at the end of date night last season.
There you go.
Yeah, that was that one when it went to the wheel and Jake landed on Jake on the wheel, and he chose Dan and went to the minefield.
Yes. So we're gonna have a battle match where they have a set of cards or
evens
whatever.
and odds. Yeah, we've seen this twist. I know we saw it on season 1 from what I watched, and I don't know if it was on season 2. I honestly can't remember.
No,
it was not.
It wasn't on season 2. It was season 1. But knowing that Taran is a big fan of the Genius, do you remember it? It was season 2 of the Genius.
Yes, I do remember this on the Genius. Yes. I was a little confused about the on-screen indication of the numbers.
I know what you're talking about. I didn't understand that either. I was trying to freeze it. Okay, here's the thing. You could definitely tell Kim, and then this is being picky, but I'm going to be picky. So because we talked about the scoring when we were actually talking on the phone, because you had watched the episode before me, but you didn't tell me the outcome, and you were talking about the battle match without knowing who was at the end. You were talking about the score. Maybe it needed a little updating or something. I feel like that maybe it needs a little more updating, because I couldn't tell the numbers that were going out. If you won a round with a number, it looked like it lit up in green, I think. But it looked like
was that what happened?
I think that's what was happening. If it was in red, then
it went gray when it lost.
When you lost,
right?
So it looked.
But remember, it's even and odds. So when they had 8 and 8, it was 16, and there was no point there.
Yellows were used in 1, reds were the odds, greens were the evens. Okay, that wow.
So
when you're seeing,
when you're seeing the back of the card. If you're seeing,
well, I knew that for the cards. We're talking about the on-screen stuff. I know the cards were that. I'm talking about the stuff on the screen.
Okay, so 1 did go. Okay, so I was looking at it when it's used, it'll go gray. But
then some of the numbers didn't go gray.
Right. That's how I was thinking when I was watching it. Now I'm seeing that when it won, it went gold, and unfortunately I didn't see that when it happened, so I wasn't able to track which bigger numbers had been used.
Yeah, I wanted to see what basically once a number was out of the game, it should have gone dark, so that we could clearly see what numbers Cameron has left, what numbers that Erica has left. That's what is important for the audience to know, and to have the score above. The score above was correct, but I couldn't tell for the life of me what numbers, who had what, or anything like that.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit of narration as well could have helped. I'm sure it was said at the start that it was first to 5 points, or it was whatever.
6 points,
it was 6 points to win.
Sure, but didn't she win at 5 points?
No, she won at 6 points. Yeah, she was at 5. She was at 5 points, and then she played her 12-point card to win the game.
Okay, so it was first to 6. But I'd forgotten how many you needed to win, and so it kind of ended very abruptly to me. Oh, it's over.
Yeah, and I think that the only reason she only needed 6 to win, there was 12 different points to get, but she only because there were 12 different rounds. But one of the rounds they tied with placing the same number, so then there were only 11 possible points left.
Yeah, exactly. They both played the 8s or something.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
So I mean, strategically, the way to follow that game is if you're keeping in mind what they've played. Because the very first point was Erica played a 3 and Cameron played a 2.
Terrible start.
So
for Cameron.
You're seeing, and at the end, Cameron even said, I should have played some bigger numbers earlier on.
Yeah.
And so when you're looking at that and you're going, okay, she played low, she played a 2, it's a green, you know then she's got a 1 and she's got a 3. she doesn't have a 2 anymore. So she's got red ones left. She's got those odd numbers left.
That's very true.
That's how you really have to play it, is not always remembering the number, but remembering whether it was odd or even.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yeah. I will say, like I said, that Erica got a 5. I think it was like there was a 5-2 she got through, or maybe it was like, and I know she got through a 7-6. Like when you can get through those, like when you barely beat them points, those are so big in a game like this. Like if you win like 11-1, like that's basically worthless. Like I mean, yeah, you're gonna get a point for it, but it's not gonna really help you long term. When you can get through those 7-6 kind of scores, those are the ones that are gonna help you.
Yeah. So when you're dropping that 11, you're dropping your big number. You know that she's going to be able to beat your 10 with a 12. You know that. So when you get that 7-6, the middle range number and get the win, or the low range number and get the point on that.
Right.
Those 2 points, I think, honestly, because they were tied up 4-4 at one point, and then Erica pulled it out 5-4 and then 6-4.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of the order that she played her numbers, and watching for those big numbers left to get Cameron's middle numbers.
Yeah. If you've ever played Hearts, it's a similar style of sort of like paying attention to what you have and what other people have played, so that you know toward the end of the game what you can and can't play. It's an interesting game. It kind of felt a little bit like. I don't know why I haven't made this connection before, but Survivor Borneo, before Jeff started narrating challenges, the challenges in Survivor were just silent.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's
and
true.
They would just,
I didn't even compare that.
Right? They just play the challenges, and there'd be like there'd be like some musical maybe, like, but no narration. And I got that vibe from this episode, watching with no narration or anything.
That's definitely I noticed that Audrey does not use the Sequester bot voice to dictate anything other than the preview and the rules, like when they tell the rules. But I do feel like maybe a little bit of narration would be useful at times like this, when it's difficult for the audience to understand necessarily what's going on, Kim.
Yeah, I mean, even for
that's a great suggestion, Audrey. Notes. Season 4.
even for the players, like if Cam is saying like, I played my 10 and I saw that I I'd just beaten the 1 or whatever it was. Yeah. Like, and I was like, oh, damn it, because now I'm behind because of this. I think that also, for me, you can use the confessionals, but then again, you have to get them at the time. Like, you have to know, okay, we're gonna need this, and have because once that using confessionals is a lot more work, I imagine.
Yeah,
but this could have been like a tennis match. They could have been going. Sequester bot could have been on the side of the table going, Erica played the 10. Cameron played the 3. Point Erica.
Yeah, we need we need Krista.
Done something like
Krista DeBono, where are you at, Sequester Fembot? You should be out there with your boobs out and should telling everybody the score. Like, she looks amazing. I'm just saying.
Oh my God, doesn't she?
Doesn't she though? Doesn't she?
She does. So she looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I would also love to like get a little like Survivor end of the episode confessional from the eliminated player as well. Like Cameron being like, I messed up. I shouldn't have played that 10.
I agree with you.
Here's what I hate about how I lost again. I can't believe I lost again. Or no, sorry, I'm not being Cameron enough. I can't believe I lost again. No.
I love your Cameron so much.
Your Cameron is
Cameron
so spot
is
on.
the best. Oh my God.
I'm waiting for the arms to go again.
So sad. I'm so sad she's gone. I saw her tweet. Like, she's like, people are going to have somebody else to kick around now that I'm gone. And I'm like, well, and somebody else tweeted at me that I'm so happy I don't have to watch Cameron on my TV screen ever again. And I'm like, I can't agree with that. She was a fantastic villain. She was somebody who she could not contain herself. Like, she could not control her mouth at various times. She also couldn't control her body, but she can control her mouth. She's fantastic at being somebody you love to hate. I mean, you need people like that on television.
I loved Cameron in the first half of the season in terms of like just like sarcastic, funny confessionals. I was really enjoying her. And then the second half of the season of what we've seen so far, because I know it wasn't exactly half that she left.
Right.
I loved watching it because every time she came on the screen, I was like, oh no, what are you doing?
I will say this, Kim, my favorite Cameron part of this entire episode was that when Cameron was with Jayla on their date and Jayla was explaining the fact she's all mad and Cameron's like, no, she didn't betray you. You just don't understand the twist. But yeah, stay mad. Yeah. Go on, girl. She's bad.
I know she's in the chat right now. Like it was like
Cameron is.
Yeah. It was like once she came back into the game, it was like she was just on one big bender the whole time.
Yeah.
Like she was just she was just like foot never came off the gas pedal.
But I love that though.
Oh
I love that. Like I mean, obviously I had my stuff to say about Cameron this entire season. First of all, I want to say she's lovely in person, and you know what? There are a lot of people in reality TV. I say just a little bit about them on this show or RHAP proper, and they come for my shit. They block me, whatever, and that's fine if they do. I am not offended by that. I just want to say that. But Cameron, her entire family, been so great about this. They've taken all the shit that I said about Cameron. They understand I got a job to do, that I'm here for color commentary, that I'm a fan on the couch calling them like I see them, and they're totally fine. Now they may feel ways about me, but they never came for me or anything. I wish that again, I'm totally fine if they want to, but I'm just saying like they have such class, and I really, really was psyched to see her go out with her head held high here. It was really nice to see. But she did.
It's a fantastic family.
Yes,
they're a fantastic family. I met all of them, met her boyfriend, the whole 9 yards.
Yes.
And they are really, really a tight-knit family. You've seen the Olsen family parties for Sunday night.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
They get like 30 people together to watch Sequester.
One of my most retweeted Sequester videos was when I retweeted the Cameron video of her when she was coming back into the game, and her entire family went, ah! Like it was just like such a great moment. I did want to add though really quickly, like we noted earlier, Cameron's out of the game. She's got something to say to Erica. She's like, just so you know, Hunter was the one who really was bringing your name out there. He was the one beating the drum for you. Erica's response, yeah, I don't believe that.
I know that's a lie.
I know that's a lie. Yeah, I know that's not true. I know that's not true. Yeah, she's like, I know that's not true. Okay, shake your hand. Oh my God, I could not stand you anymore, Eric.
It was very much like you've just been told that your significant other is cheating on you, and they definitely are, but you're like, no, you're lying to me. I don't believe it.
True.
It's not true.
You're making it up. That is true. Well, I'll tell you that was literally her foot still on the gas pedal right up to the minute she walked out. So, I'm kind of going to miss Cameron.
Yeah. This has happened to me before where people who I couldn't wait till they get out of the game. I wanted to get them out of the game. And then once they're out of the game, it's like, I kind of missed them a little bit.
So now we've got Quiet Zach. We've got Quiet Jessica, but who's always got something going on.
We've got Hunter, who Hunter doesn't have a sense of direction. Jayla doesn't know what the fuck's happening. Tori, I guess, kind of like the only one who really has a sense of purpose to me is Dustin. I wanted to talk really quickly about the people that I feel like we've answered in this podcast. Like to me, Dustin is clearly number one in the house. I feel like Tori would probably be number 2, but I don't know how close it is. So what do you feel like, Taran?
Well, it's funny because at Final 9, there was an alliance of 5 that came together, and they had the majority, and the other side didn't even know what was happening. Their heads, again, were in different games. And for 2 rounds, that alliance of 5 has controlled the game, while the other 4 have just floundered around doing nothing. And now we're at the Final 7, and it's that 5 has been dwindled down to 3, and the other side has a majority now, having done nothing. Probably still will do nothing, and that 3 will still probably dictate who goes home in the next round, which is very interesting.
Yeah, the 4 are, even though they've got a majority of these outsiders, because they weren't part of the big majority, they're not they don't have their shit together.
I'm
they
hopeful.
Really don't.
Look, I'm hopeful that Jessica can bring these fucking people together. Like if she can get Hunter and Jayla and Erica together to say, look, we can do this, guys. We can control what happens here. But if they're playing scared, if they're still playing scared next week, then
which they are.
Dustin's gonna dictate who goes home, and we'll see what happens then if they can win a battle match. Like I said, 20 minutes into this episode, I knew that Erica was getting voted out. The only question to me was who it was, if she was going to be able to win the battle match. And like I said, like here's the thing: if you guys don't want to spoil things for me, that's fine. I appreciate that. But when everybody is texting me saying, "Have you watched the episode yet? Have you watched the episode yet?" I had a pretty good hunch that my girl Erica was going to pull it out, especially when she selected Cameron to battle against. And sure enough, she did. So hush next time. That includes you, Kim.
I didn't say anything.
Well, you were like,
I did not tell you.
But I could tell you were happy with this. Like, you were happy with something. Here's the thing: you were happy, and then like the first 55 minutes of the episode, I'm like, there's nothing good here. So there has to be something good in the battle match for me. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I was just taunting you. That's all.
I think the problem with those four coming together is that it's a huge ask for everybody except for Jess. That Hunter no longer wants to work with Erica. He feels like he needs her gone ASAP because she's too big of a threat. And
so he
Jayla,
thinks he can beat Tori or Dustin.
And Jayla also wants Erica gone. But
I feel like that was momentary. I feel like she got it out of her system. And Erica's going to come back in and like she's going to explain, look, like I had to vote for you then. I feel like there's a way. I agree, though. It's a big ask. I agree.
And I think another problem is that while, Erica picking Cameron is maybe the most fitting thing for her story, I think Cameron was the person sort of repelling other people the most, right? Like now that Cameron's gone from that, now that Cameron, I'm offering you a spot that's opened up, has sort of left that group, I think that people like Jess and Hunter will be able to be like, well, now there's an actual spot there, and the people left are kind of workable. Dustin, Tori, Zach. I think I can actually get in with them now.
Especially because remember, Tori didn't want to work with Dustin. She wanted to work with Jayla.
Yeah.
So now do you have Tori and Jayla? Maybe Tori, Jayla, Jess?
Yeah, that's true. There's a
finding their fourth.
That's true. Cameron's gone out of the game. Thomas has gone out of the game, and like this other side has done nothing to help themselves. But yeah, they're still in a pretty good position now that Cameron's gone out of the game, and that was like Tori's ostensibly her number two, her final two partner. I don't even know how the deck is going to look reshuffled. I'd like to think that things mix up a little bit, but especially with the little animosity that we've seen between Tori and Dustin. Like Tori clearly does not trust Dustin, so I don't know how far that's going to go, but she might need him at this point. I don't know. We'll see.
I imagine that she said she didn't want to be in the final four with two other guys, but she doesn't really have an option left unless she's willing to take Erica, which does not seem like a great idea for Tori. So I have to imagine that at this point she is willing to just do Zach, Dustin, and I imagine that they will pull in Jayla. And I feel like Jayla might be willing to sort of do that, and maybe Jess comes along as well, and I feel like that leaves Hunter and Eric on the outs, which seems right to me.
Yeah, I think that's probably true, though. I like to think, though, Kim, that they should start worrying about threats at this point. Like anybody who's a threat to you to win the game, you should be trying to remove from the battlefield at this point. Right. They have to recognize that Dustin and Tori, I mean, I would say what they want about Erica, but I mean, like Dustin and Tori to me are clearly threats to win the game. They have to recognize that. I feel like they do recognize that about Tori, but they're not willing to do anything about it. Like they're literally just willing to let her waltz her way to the end.
I think they recognize it about Tori. I don't think they recognize it about Dustin.
I agree.
I think they're looking at Dustin going, yeah, he's just the fun, kind of goofy guy, and we're having a good time, and we can take him out anytime. He hasn't been in any battle matches.
Yeah.
They haven't seen him compete.
Remember when I think it was Hunter has his date with Dustin, his confessional is like, who are you?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, but I will say that Hunter was the one who got into it with Dustin in the last round when he had his vote and purposely threw it on Jayla so that Dustin would have to stand up. So there is a little animosity between them. So I'm hopeful that maybe that well, that would still just leave Hunter on the outside with Erica. So
exactly. So I don't think. I mean, it's going to take something to happen in the next episode.
It's going to take a very big player,
to make Dustin stand out.
Well, we don't know what the twist is for the next episode.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so the twist might change something. Yeah.
You never know. I mean, ours at 7. Was
it the bounty, or was it the you can't vote for this person? I think it was the bounty, you can't vote for this person.
No, it was the bounty hunter.
Okay. There was a round where you couldn't vote for somebody, then there's another round where if you had that person's name, you were trying to get that person eliminated, and you get an LOS. Yeah.
This would be the next time that they decided to close the door on me, and when they finally let me in, and I went, I've got Hamza.
Yeah.
But but they've already done stuff like that. I don't think they're going to do that again.
Yeah, I know they're not repeating any twists except for I know they're not repeating any twists other than date night and the final 4. So
exactly,
it's going to be something new for final 7.
Okay, so I had the question sent to me on DM on Twitter.
Yes,
saying which player do we think from? By the way, this is from Alex Banks, who lives in the UK, and he's wonderful person. He's a huge Sequester fan.
Big fan of Sequester.
Absolutely. And so Alex said, which player from season 3 could fit in best on season 2 and have been able to play the game, and which one would have been the least likely to make it in season 2?
No, I don't feel like that. I really don't feel like the people in season 2 would have put up with Hunter's bullshit. I really don't feel like Hunter's game would have worked at all in season 2. He may disagree with that, but I don't think so. I think those people in season 2 were far more ballsy. And I remember talking with you about the pressure you felt, Kim, to vote with the majority when they were like dictating to you, like, this is what we're going to do. And if you could throw off your vote, but there was going to be holy hell to pay if you did. And it doesn't seem like it's that way this time.
Yeah, I think for me, especially if I'm focusing on recent players, I think Thomas, just in general, I feel like is going to do pretty well fitting in with groups, and I think he would have fit in with some of those guys in season 2. Zach, I think, is always going to fit into any group because he's very just easy to get along with, and he's a soldier.
I think Judd would have gone for the jugular on Zach.
Oh, that's
the beginning.
That's true. That's possible. Yeah, it depends on the relationship Judd has with Zach.
Yeah,
for sure.
Very true.
But I also think Jess is another person who's just like generally going to be able to, because like if I'm looking at somebody like Jess, she doesn't fit into this group, but she's managing pretty well. So I feel like even if she didn't fit into the previous group, I feel like she still would have managed pretty well, and maybe she does fit into the other to last season's group. So
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I think Tori would have fit in well in season 2, because initially I think she would have had the pageant princess thing going on with Cindy, and I think where Cindy throws her own alliance under the bus, Tori doesn't.
Yeah.
So I think that
Cindy with an S.
So I think that she would have initially had kind of a bond with Cindy, and then as soon as Cindy was out, Tori wouldn't have had any hurt feelings over it.
Yeah. Kim, the question go ahead.
She
sorry.
would have. No,
the question the question that I had from people on Twitter was, and this is something we probably should have talked about like in previous weeks, but what are the chances of the eliminated contestant coming back? I feel like I'd like to talk about this every week moving forward. So what are the chances that Cameron could come back on a future season of Sequester?
On a future season?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it'd be a pretty good shot that she potentially could.
Yeah.
Because Cameron's kind of a rule follower. You don't get very many good female villains.
Yes.
Cameron's a good female villain to bring into a game like this. I think she would play it completely different.
Oh, see, I think she played. No. I think she played completely the same. She can't. That woman cannot change. No, that woman cannot change.
I think Cameron is the most likely player to return from the entire cast.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I would say overall, I would say Cameron, possibly. Yeah, I'd say Cameron's probably most likely to return. If I were for a female, for a male, I think it'd be, I think it could potentially be Thomas with his little weasel noises going on.
Maybe. I feel like there's a lot. Like by the time, I don't know when they would do an All-Stars sequester, maybe like, I don't know, whenever. But I feel like there's a lot of people who could potentially fit his role. He's not like, say what you want about Thomas, but I don't feel like he's like scintillating television. I feel like that if I'm looking at somebody to cast from this season, I would probably cast Drew over Thomas.
Oh my God, Drew would be amazing to have back.
I could see Braden as well. I feel like his sort of episode and elimination, I feel like there was like story left to be told there.
That's how I always felt like he was going to come back, but then I was wrong.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's probably a solid 4 or 5 people from season 3 that could do it. God, she would have a tough time, I think, with some of them in season 2. Like breaking it down, because there were a lot of big personalities in 2. And I could probably name from season 1, I think Dana would be asked back. I think that there's a good possibility of maybe probably actually Jamie Lee.
Her name was brought up during this episode. I think a lot of people who don't watch Sequester, who didn't watch season 1 of Sequester, and I'm not a big connoisseur of it, I've only seen a couple episodes, but like they said, I haven't seen this many dates since Jamie Lee, and I'm like, I don't really get the joke, but I'm sure there's a joke there somewhere. Like, was she like?
I thought they were talking about Jamie Lee Curtis.
I know, right? Was she like the lady of the night on season 1 or what? I have no idea what was up with why were they making fun of Jamie and going on all these dates, Kim?
Jamie Lee's dated a lot of people. We'll just leave it at that. She's
Sounds
got
good.
a very impressive dating resume. And the other one, by the way, I really liked the animation leading into it. It was almost like Love Connection.
Yeah,
in
very
between the
cheesy.
rounds. I liked it.
Yes, and again, I love this twist. It just it fell really flat with this cast. It was just like,
I
okay,
disagree.
we're voting. That's fine.
In your opinion?
In my opinion, it fell really flat with this. In Kim's opinion too. So it's we outvote you, Taran. But it fell really flat. It was just like, okay, we're voting for Erica. Okay. Let's sit around and talk.
Let's make a final 4.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how pleased I was with this episode. I was watching this episode thinking, is there value in just having every round date night on Sequester? Like, is there a show where every single round is date night? I think that could work. I love it.
Taran's going to go off and write his own game show now.
Yeah. It's been a long
I think
time
there's
coming.
something really valuable about individual conversations being separated, and I think we're seeing a lot of that on The Circle, the Netflix show that's come out recently. I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think that part of the success of that show is individual conversations, not having to deal with group conversations. Somebody that watches live feeds all the time, you're constantly ignoring group conversations because they're boring and pointless most of the time, because most people are at least lying or just chatting about whatever. You're always like waiting for people to go off on their own. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Like when people, the feeds come on in Big Brother, and then there's like 10 people in a room, and they want to we want to entertain you. We're like, please.
No. I do not want another dance routine.
No. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, well, Cameron, it's been nice knowing you. It's been fun hating on you. I've had a great time with it, but she's gone, and now Erica's going to walk back into the house once again. I'm interested to see what these people think.
Who's your winner pick right now, Brent?
Dustin. I'm going to go with Dustin. Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know who the winner is.
I know you don't. I know you don't. Yeah. You do not know who the winner is. Yeah.
I don't want any spoilers. I told Audrey that from the beginning. So who's your winner pick, Taran?
I feel good about Jess. I feel like she could be the winner.
I would be ecstatic if Jess was the winner. My power rankings of the people that I would love to win would be like, in my dream world of like Rachel Riley winning Big Brother 13 would be like Erica winning this season of Sequester. And she could. I mean, I don't feel like but it's like a really hard road. Like, I don't feel like she has any allies. Like, basically, other people are going to have to make mistakes for Erica to somehow get to the end. But if she gets to the end, I feel like she has a fighting shot to win. I would love for Erica to win. Jessica, and Dustin would probably be my top 3 at this point. Jayla, I really feel like Jayla really shot herself in the foot here in this episode. Yeah. I don't know who she beats other than Zach at the end, because I don't think these people even respect her anymore. They're like, yeah, she's nice.
I could never vote for somebody to win the game knowing that there was this big a misunderstanding that happens.
I feel like she's done inordinate damage to her chances of winning. Maybe doesn't even know it.
Yeah. You know, it's fun. It's funny that you compare Erica to Rachel Riley, because I've been thinking about her effect on the game in the latter half, and I feel like she's having a very similar effect to Rachel Riley, where she is a very polarizing character, and because of that, she's actually a super stabilizing force in the game. Because the longer that Rachel Riley stays in the house, the more the house is just always in the same spot because they can't get rid of her, and that's what's happening here with Erica, where nothing is changing, because every time there's somebody to blame, it's always Erica. And so we're seeing a lot of stagnation here.
Yeah, we saw that in 12, like in Big Brother 12, when it was like Rachel and Brendan are the house enemy. It really helped shield the brigade from everything, because it was always about like, okay, we got to get Rachel and Brendan. Finally, you get both of them out by the final 7. And then the game's locked up at that point. You can't do anything about it. So,
exactly.
I agree. Stabilizing presence in the house, and maybe she doesn't even realize how much of a stabilizing presence she is. That's such a polarizing figure.
Common enemy.
Yeah. That's
Giant
very,
squid.
very true.
Yeah, pick up that common enemy, Jessica. I know you said you didn't want to. She's like, Erica, I can't work with her. She's flip-flopped. I'm like, what are you doing, honey? What are you doing? Who are you loyal to, Jessica? Pot, kettle, high.
I think Jessica, I will agree on the Jessica pick. I think Jessica is very smart. I think she's very game savvy and could get to the end, because I don't think she would be pointed at, and I don't think she would be drugged.
Very important. Yeah.
And the other one that I think is, I think Tori's got a shot. And
I do too. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I adore Tori. When I met Tori, she actually cried, you guys. She was like, oh my God, Kim Mattina. So this goes back.
Tori's great. Yeah.
To what Taran was saying. She was like, oh my God, Kim Mattina.
Dude, like, not that I know that I famously made Kimberly Ford my winner pick. Okay, but the person I had number 2, listen for real. I know it. Okay. But the person I had number 2 was Tori. People forget, like, I liked them both. I said I love the beauty queens. They're freaking amazing. People just remember the Kimberly pick. They don't give me any credit for the Tori pick.
No, wait, that's hard to give credit for. That point.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I with Jess, I haven't seen anything from Jess that has made me be like, bad Jess. Like, basically anytime she talks, I'm like, yeah.
A little bit this round. I felt like, but I know
thought
that
she played this round really well.
Yeah, I mean, like, I give her a little bit of a pass. Like, I mean, I'm frustrated with her, but I also was like, okay, it's like the date night round. She has very little control over the flow of information here. So, like, I don't like what she's doing, but I understand why she's doing it.
You know what, though? With the people that went out the last 2 rounds and the majority becoming the minorities, really, if the majority gets together.
Right. Yeah.
I think that this is where Jessica has a chance to step up.
She does.
And
she really does.
She could literally run this game out if the cards are in it for her.
Yeah, even if like let's say she gets a group together at 4. I'm sorry, at 7 here, and it has a majority of 4, and gets somebody out. Even if that person loses the battle match, like you're still at the final 6 with the working threesome there. I still feel like she would be in such a great spot if she could do something here at 7. But I don't know.
Plus,
I don't know if she knows that it's imminent. Yeah, I don't know if she knows.
She's got options here.
Well, like we've seen her try. Oh, like in it's very easy to miss because it gets glossed over very quickly. But I've seen her try multiple times. Like basically every other episode, I've seen her be like, "So, what if we got the girls together?" And Cameron's like, no. And she goes to Erica, well, what if we get these people together? No. It goes to Jayla, well, what if we did this? No. And so, maybe next week will be the time. I think it would put her in a pretty good spot. I think she can position herself between Erica and Jayla, where neither of them will want to take each other, and they will both want to take her. And I think she can theoretically beat either of them, depending on how mad people are at Erica.
Yep, I agree. I agree. So yeah, I would sit between Jessica and Tori.
Okay, cool.
I think it's going to be one of them. I don't think we're going to see a guy. I think we're going to see 4 girls in Final Four.
That's a big call. Interesting. I don't know if I agree with that. I feel who's coming for Dustin? I didn't think anybody would have even picked him for a battle match.
There's only
Dustin's going to get voted out. I think that there's only 3 guys. Now we've got 4 girls and 3 guys. I can see Dustin getting voted out. I could see Dustin potentially dragging Hunter. I could see Hunter very easily getting voted out. Hello, he's the only one not to choose from this time. And I can see they could possibly yank Zach.
Nope. Why are they going to get rid of Zach, Kim? Why are they getting rid of Zach? Who the hell is threatened by Zach? Maybe, again, the only reason you remove Zach from the game is if you're worried he's going to sit in your chair.
Exactly.
If you need that chair, because he does take up a spot within the game. If you're worried.
So if I'm Jessica and I'm concerned about what my resume looks like, I'm not necessarily going to use Zach as a resume builder, but I'm going to get rid of Zach because he could be potentially taking my spot.
Definitely.
From Final Four.
That's I mean, that's the Suri move, right? Like,
exactly.
and it's exactly what she should be doing, I think. Because with Zach gone, I do think that she is the default. Like, I want to bring her to Final 2 at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and it's not going to happen this next round because he's got an LOS unless
they
decide, which they might try and blindside him.
They could, It depends on what the twist is, and it depends on how capable these people are.
Maybe
they've been scared up until this point.
Maybe he forgets to bring it too. I mean, he's had it for a while. I mean, is he keeping it in his pocket all the time? Because nobody's seen it, so maybe he's keeping it somewhere else.
Did you see that? Did you see, by the way, that Erica in the last round when they re-showed it, she had it in her punani, and she had like tissue paper like wrapped all around it. Like that was I didn't notice that before. I thought that was hilarious.
I actually said
that's why they have that tray out there, so you put it on the tray.
That's what I said to Kristen DeBono. I was like, oh my God. Ugh. And she goes, Kim, I said, did you get out your rubber gloves and a pair of tongs to take it off?
Listen, it's so funny
and
because
she's like, you know me so well.
They have the tray, like on Survivor, they just like slap it in Prope's hand. Here it's like, we got a tray. Put it on the tray, please.
Yeah,
much more sanitary.
You know, it's sitting in socks and behinds and vaginas. I think isn't that what Tori called it, a vagina?
Yeah, something
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Great episode. Thank you so much, Kim. You've been such a treat. Thank you so much. Honestly, I loved having you on tonight. You brought up so many things that I don't even think about as a player when I'm trying to evaluate the game and what conversations these people need to be having with and what information they could be gleaning and the way information is conveyed within this game, telephone and date night. It was really, really fun having you here.
Well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to continuing to watch RHAP because I love the podcasts and can't wait. I mean, we've got the circle going on right now. And by the way, having Tim and Bay in the other room because it was cold and all that, I loved that with you guys, Taran.
Thank you.
And, and we've got Survivor Australia All-Stars, which is going to be freaking amazing. We've got Survivor 40. Both of them starting next month.
It's ridiculous that they're on at the same time.
I know it. We've got BB Canada coming up in just a matter of months. It's like, oh my God, there's so much. The Bachelor started
A bounty
tonight,
of riches. Yes.
We do. We've got so much reality coverage to have take place. And I love every minute of it. So thank you so much for what you guys do. And hey, invite me back for any of the shows because let me tell you, I watch them all.
We'll see you on Big Brother. I mean, I know we'll see you on Big Brother Canada.
Oh, yes, I would love to do BB Can because I love BB Can.
Me too.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. You were amazing. This was I loved the episode. So great job, Audrey, on this episode. Really enjoyed it. Thank you to everyone that hung out with us tonight. Yeah. We'll of course see you next week with CJ.
Yep, CJ from season 2 is going to be our guest next week on Monday, and I'm very excited about it.
We'll do a deep dive on Final Four strategy.
Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah.
Oh, thank God for her strategy. Thank you, CJ. So Thank you guys so much again for having me on. I loved it.
Yes.
You're welcome, honey.
You can find us on social media. I'm at Armstrong Taran on Twitter. Brent, where can people find you?
At One Lucky Gay. And Kim Mattina, it's at Kim Mattina, yes?
Yeah, it's really creative.
Yeah, I know, right?
KIMMATTINA.
I love your bio. Like, it's like too old for something, too young for this, and I won Sequester. How about that shit? Like,
yeah. I have a couple things on my bio. I should have one of these days.
That's what I remember anyway.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We've enjoyed your company, and we will see you next time.